Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. And also keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy. Alright folks, here we are after market close on Friday, November 12th. We're going to take a look at SoFi to cap off the week. So SoFi having a bit of a flat to downish day today. It's recovering a little bit in the after hours at the moment. Who knows if that'll hang on at all at the end of a Friday. But, in my opinion, doing a good job holding the strength of the week. I mean, this is the 5-day. So this was the 5 trading day week. And as I'm sure you recall, this pretty solid sell-off of 7 point something percent on the day prior to the earnings call coming after hours, and then obviously we rocketed up. But if you look here at how sort of solid this is holding, let me just get rid of this VWAP. To me, this is looking just pretty bull flaggish, right? So I mean, we'll see if it ends up playing out that way or not. But this is pretty solid motion that it's putting in here, I would say, after this big run up. So obviously it's going to need to find a bit of a base and a bounce at some point, and it looks like it's trying or kind of wanting for it to be this 2289, I think is the actual level that we have there. 2289, because you see it keeps kind of returning to it. When I focused on these more, I used to call them magnetic zones, because the price would just fly up above and then come right back down to it, and the price would dip below and then it would come back right back up to it. And that's a bit of what we're seeing with that 2289 level over the last several days. So I'll be interested to see if it kind of builds itself a little base there, maybe waits on another catalyst coming, such as bank charter, such as revised and hopefully improved consensus price targets from analysts, and those have had big impacts previously. So and certainly I would expect the bank charter to be quite a catalyst unto itself. So that's mostly what I'm looking for. Can it continue to sort of magnetize itself along this 2289? And if so, can we just say that it's just possibly spending several days, maybe even several weeks building a base there? To me, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, to have some sideways action that results in building a base. As they say, the bigger the base, the bigger the move. I think that's probably the daily chart on SoFi proves that out pretty solidly. I mean, this range that this was in here, that was from about July 7th until it really kind of broke out there on October 11th. So it spent a solid 3 months in that range. And I don't necessarily know or think that it would this time around. But it's not bad if it spends a little time, not even necessarily cooling off, but just like I said, kind of building itself a new little base and figuring out where it can accumulate and then where it can run to next. But this is all looking quite solid to me, especially given the week that we had. So just keep in mind that we went from 1985 on the day of the 10th to a high of 2465 the following morning. So it's a pretty solid week to put in. It's kind of surprising to me to see some folks' reaction sounding kind of sad, like they expected more. And I was just thinking, like, were you with us like all of July? Were you one of the folks who were really sad when we were down in the 13s and was thinking this was going to 10? Because how you can be disappointed in the run up that we saw on the day after earnings, 12.5% is crazy to me, especially in the context of being up over 21% in the last month. I mean, this is just such a far cry from all of the woes that we all had, when the lockup expired and this massive sell-off ensued, and then the poor reaction after last earnings and the sell-off that ensued. So I'll just say, if you're feeling as though you were expecting more, maybe you've come come along as of late, and maybe you weren't here for all of the pain or for much of the pain, but I would just say, keep in mind where this has come from and where it's gone to. It's had quite an erratic, crazy path, right? Since since the beginning of July, or beginning of January. So the very beginning of 2021, it's had a very crazy ride. And that's after the crazy ride that we all had in 2020. So obviously there's more to come here, and I like being involved in a stock that has crazy price action, right? It's always interesting, but just keep in mind that means that the floor can drop out as well as the rocket can launch, right? So those things go hand in hand, and it's always a double-edged sword. So I would just always tell folks, keep perspective on these things. I try not to get overly exuberant on the runs, nor overly despondent on the sell-offs. And at the same token, I try to keep my risk in order, not over leverage in any one direction on any one given stock, even if I feel like I know it really well. I think there's always things that could happen that are sort of unexpected. I was looking at unusual whales today to try to figure out sort of what's going on with SoFi. It was a pretty mixed today. There was kind of a pretty solid split between the bears and the bulls and the premium that was going on there. But also I noticed a lot of the bearish whale activity seemed to be focused on November 12th, which is today, expiration dates. So I kind of think maybe for the future looking dates, there is maybe some more bullish activity, but we'll take a look next week and sort of let the 11/12s sort of go in the trash heap of history and clear those out, and it'll make it a little bit cleaner to look at and sort of see what the whales are doing at that point. But we can see in the order flow here, obviously a bunch of large scale orders coming in all week today, some taking profits, but so it goes. But that's a small comparison to almost 16, well over 11, and then these accumulate to over 1.5. So pretty fantastic week if you ask me. I don't know that there's much more to say on the chart side of things other than that. On the data side of things, there's a bunch of news cycle happenings, of course. Something about Chamath, it looks like. Galileo accounts jump 80%, revenue increases 29% in Q3. Time for investors to plug in, such a silly headline. But anyway, top discussed stocks on Wall Street bets. SoFi to participate in upcoming fourth quarter investor conferences, so that could potentially bring something interesting. We'll see. That's next week, it looks like, is the Citi Virtual FinTech Conference, so that could be interesting. And then another one November 30th, December 1st, December 2nd. So really like one next week, and then after Thanksgiving and toward the end of the month, we'll get a few more dates. So it could be interesting if that brings in some big buys, maybe from institutions or whatnot. And sort of keep an eye on that and see what happens. Yeah, some good news cycle stuff going on as well, which is always good to see. And then if we take a look at the short data, down a little bit today. Shorts really sort of on the sidelines at this point. 7.07% per Ortex estimates. Utilization under 20. Cost to borrow under 1. Days to cover 1.57. So nothing that's really concerning to me in any of those stats. Pretty happy as a peach. That's not the saying. I was trying happy as a cucumber. No, I don't know what the saying is, but no, I'm pretty pleased after this week. I thought that this was really fantastic. I'm glad we have a second earnings under our belt, and we can kind of shake off the dust or the stank or whatever from the last earnings. We have one catastrophic and one phenomenal, and we'll see what the future holds. But obviously I'm leaning into the hopeful side of things. We see this also nice continuous uptrend on the volume, right? The highest volume days continuing to uptick, and so that's really great to see since the recovery started about here, right? When that volume started to come in, and it's been upticking ever since on the high volume days. And the high volume days have been our green days. Even though this is red down here, it's some weird, like it had said before, some weird setting on Webull or something that I probably have enabled. And it does that sometimes, makes a green day red. I don't know why. But in any case, I also want to thank folks who have gone ahead and tossed some shekels, some folks many shekels, so thank you, on the Venmo, which I've put in the description below, because some folks are wondering how they could help sort of show their support for the channel, whatnot. That's the monetary way, obviously, tossing me, you know, whatever feels right on Venmo. Non-money ways, sharing any of the videos that you found helpful or interesting on StockTwits, Reddit, Twitter, wherever it is that you read or share or watch stock content. And then also I will have that Patreon coming. I'm hoping just in a few weeks here. I'm starting to put it together from all of the feedback that the other bunch of phenomenal folks who sent in their thoughts and ideas on the survey that I was putting out previously. That has helped a lot. I sort of have 3 levels that I'm planning on launching with, and price points in each, and that was predominantly informed by the feedback I got from folks. So all of these things just mean a lot. I really appreciate the channel, the community that has sort of evolved around the channel, and hopefully a bunch of the like weird trolls and haters have kind of just, you know, left at this point. We're not here to fight. We're not here to get into silly status arguments and all whatever weirdness there is. We're here to just kind of see what happens, be interested and intrigued in the oddities surrounding the stock market in general, trend analysis in general, but especially as it pertains to SoFi and the crazy audacious vision that they have that they're trying hard to execute on. That would be really a huge gain for society, I think, and would really help out a bunch of folks and be a phenomenal product if they can execute on that vision that they are trying to roll out into the future. All right, I'm incredibly tired today. I'm coming down with a little sickness, so excuse the ramblings, but I'm just glad to have made it through the video and made it through the week. I hope you all have a great weekend ahead and that you finished the week off strong today. And as always, I really, really appreciate you watching. I will see you in the next video.